Jason Nash is talking all about his life these days. Since he started his podcast, he had Dave Portnoy on as a guest, and it seems like the floodgates have opened since then, and he is ready to go down memory lane and talk about everything that's happened to him in his internet career. The other day, I talked about how Jason Nash posted his first podcast episode sitting down with Dave Portnoy, and they talked a lot about the Vlog Squad, regrets during his cancellation, David's cancellation, his relationship with Jeff Wittick, and told Dave that he would be very happy to go on his podcast, the BFFs podcast, and spill anything Dave wanted to know about his relationship with Trisha Paytas. And when I heard this, I thought, oh no, Jason, we do not want to go there. Not right now, because anytime in the past where someone has talked about their old friendship or their old relationship or anything that has to do with Trisha, it has not ended well. And it usually ends with her in tears, filming and having an immediate reaction to what was said about her. And I mean, Jason gave nobody any time to even process the fact that he was going to maybe go on the BFFs podcast, because it was a reality and it happened. He literally went on BFFs the very next day after he posted his podcast, and I totally thought it was going to be a little bit before he would actually go on, but no, literally the next day. Now, I will say that Trisha is in such a good place right now, it seems, and we're going to get more into what she's had to say about the place in life that she's in and how she feels about people bringing up stuff from the past, and how people feel like that conversation that she tried to have was a little bit of a response to Jason. But for a little while now, people have been saying that Trisha is in a much better place than she's ever been in before. She hasn't really gotten into any crazy scandals or been extremely disrespectful like she has in the past, and she hasn't called out other creators or family members of hers in any recent time. It's been very tame, and people believe that her pregnancy has really changed her and are really happy for her. And even Jason on the podcast was saying that he is really happy for her. He is happy to see that she's married, she's a baby on the way, and he really does wish her the best. And when talking about Trisha, he wasn't going to shy away from the truth of what it was. I mean, it was both good and bad, and he wasn't going to shy away from talking about it, because this was the first time that Jason was ever talking about his relationship with Trisha. And he had told Dave that he was going to tell him anything he wanted to know about Trisha.
But I'll tell you everything you want to know about Trisha Paytas.
So I knew he wasn't going to hold back, and that's why I was a little nervous, because no one has ever really talked about Trisha to this extent in a while. And I just honestly didn't know how she was going to react, because the Vlog Squad and David and Jason, anytime that she has talked about them before, she has just expressed that she does not like these people whatsoever. But this being the first time that Jason was ever really telling his side of the story of dating Trisha, we've only ever really heard Trisha talk about it time and time again on Frenemies. I mean, Dave couldn't even process the fact that Jason had dated Trisha, and he was definitely throwing a little bit of shade towards Trisha, and, you know, just being like, Jason, how could you date Trisha? Like, you seem so normal. Insinuating that Trisha was just like, he was confused as to how the two could even be together. Jason says that he really cared about Trisha. He loved Trisha, and he loved how much she loved him, and he could feel that she had so much love to give, but that love was coming from so many places, and it was a lot for him to handle.
She was really into me, so I love that. She was really sweet to me. She loved me. Like, you know, Trisha loved me so much, you know, and so did her 17 personalities, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it was just, we started filming together, and that was cool. And we were doing really good. And then it just got to a place where it was just like, she was, I didn't like the relationship, and I couldn't get out.
Their relationship was nearly a year long, and it had a very extremely dramatic ending, I will say that. And we've only ever really heard it from Trisha's side, so a lot of people kind of don't really know whether Trisha is telling like the full story or the real story, an exaggerated version of a story whenever she is saying stuff, because she has been caught a lot of times saying one thing and then saying another thing. So hearing it from Jason, everyone was like, oh, so that really happened, that you really did crash her car into his house. Like, yeah, that was something that actually happened.
She threatened to ruin me and ruin all my friends. That's really what happened. And then eventually, you know, she drove her car into my house and trapped me in my house for like 3 hours. I mean, I don't want to go into it, but she's, you know, at the time, I haven't talked to her in 2 years. At the time, she was really sick. You know, she had some sort of chemical imbalance where she would kind of black out and anything could happen.
They ultimately had to break up because Trisha was trying to expose David and the Vlog Squad members for being cliquey, bratty, disrespectful, and she didn't like David and didn't think he actually cared about the people that he was filming, and she was trying to get others to see this. And at the time, everyone thought Trisha was just crazy. But to look back now and, you know, hear what she had to say about David and his character, the way she described him, everything she said about him, and then to see how people view him right now, it's very wild how nobody believed Trisha. Everyone thought that she was crazy. And well, like she said on Frenemies many times, like she felt this coming. He goes on to say that she was just really sick ultimately when they dated, and he really did want to help her, but it just wasn't possible at the time, and explains that he has been seeing the things that have gone on in her life. Like he knew that she was pregnant, that she got married, and thinks that this next stage in her life will hopefully bring her all that she has been searching for and everything that she has been wanting all these years, saying that she's always been like one to fixate on things and buy a lot of stuff to find happiness, and thinks this chapter of her life will really give her everything and more.
There was sort of this unfillable hole with her where she would like buy a lot of stuff and do a lot of stuff in excess, and it never really made her happy. So I hope that, you know, when the baby comes, that'll be the thing that like...
Yeah, or maybe she found it in the last like...
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
you know
she has a husband now, a great husband, handsome guy, comes from a good family.
Now, as for Trisha, she didn't directly respond to Jason, but some people feel like she kind of did in a way when she made a video talking about what's going on with Britney Spears and her ex-husband, Kevin Federline. Kevin came out and was talking about Britney all these years later, and people were really not having what he had to say about her. And the things that Trisha was saying in this video had people in the comments thinking it was her subtle way of addressing Jason coming out all these years later to talk about them and their relationship.
They always wanted her to be crazy Britney, and I feel like all this is coming about to like trigger her again. It's like she's finally happy, she's stable in life, she's in a stable relationship, and they all come out for what?
Aside from this TikTok, she also made a YouTube video talking about Britney and the situation. She starts to self-reflect and talk about the changes that she's made in her own life that have her no longer talking about other people in videos anymore, and she now thinks that that is gross.
You know, my like past of talking about people online and stuff like that, it's gross. It's gross. It's sick behavior. Like I really had to like work on like forgiving myself and letting that part go, because like it would make me sick. I would like be up at night, like cold sweats, being like, ew, I'm like disgusting for sharing this stuff. And I see that now on this side, right? And I'm like, that's so disgusting.
She's definitely coming for Kevin, saying that every interview or video that he's been posting the last couple days has just been so inappropriate.
Low blows for what? Dude, you've been laying low for so long. Him posting those videos, like just so, why? Or why are you posting anything? You're in your 40s, you know, or late 30s. You have children. You have lots of children. Be better. Keep that ish private. Like it's so...
So that is what Jason had to say about Trisha, him, you know, kind of saying his side of the story for the first time since he's never talked about it before. Trisha talking about Britney Spears. I mean, do you guys think that she was talking about Jason? I really don't know. I think that she really was talking about Britney, but some of the things that she was saying really could also, you know, kind of come from feelings she might have about people from her past talking about her. Even if she isn't talking about Jason or subtly talking about him, it is very, very interesting to hear Trisha say that it's really inappropriate for Kevin to come out and talk about his private business with Britney because of their kids, and it's just really embarrassing for their kids and all that type of stuff. When Jason on the podcast was saying the reason why he stayed silent for so long was because of his kids, and the things that Trisha was saying about him and that whole drama was affecting his kids, so he didn't want to add fuel to the fire. So it's just really interesting to see that Trisha has now changed her perspective and wouldn't want two people with kids to talk about their business online, whereas like before she like did not care about Jason's kids knowing any of the stuff that went on between them.
Trish, when she was coming after me, I I never said anything because of how it would affect my kids. You know what I mean? Like that's just the biggest reason. Like, my son would get like DMs, I'm going to kill you and stuff like that. And when you contribute to that, although it's tempting to want to defend yourself, like maybe in Addison's mom's case where she's like, she wants to say something, like you said, say one or two things.
Yeah.
It's tempting, and it's really hard not to grab your phone and be like, you, like, leave me alone. But yeah, that was why I never said anything. It was just because of my kids.
But that is what happened this week. Lots of podcasts this week. There's so many things that have happened in podcasts. And yeah, I mean, podcasts are the thing right now. Everyone's doing one. And sometimes I see you guys comment that you miss my podcast, and I miss her too. No Bleeps was so fun. I really do miss it. And sometimes I want to do it again. And I have thought about bringing it back many a times, you guys, but I don't know. I'm like so on the fence. I definitely have a lot of stuff to update you guys on if I ever did bring it back. And I do miss like just getting to sit and chat with you guys and talk about whatever I wanted. So let me know if that's something that you want in the future. But I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.